Well, hey guys, we're back at it again. What are we doing tonight? Well, we're finally doing that Sopranos review that I've talked about for quite a long time. We'll be enjoying that with one of Tatiana's nightcaps. So let's get right into that. Let's get us set up with a smoke right now, and then we'll get right into the review. Yes, this is a ZT because I'm a silly goose, but I like this knife. There we go. Come on. Let's put the knife away. Tatiana. There we go. And we slide that band off right with it. Nice and sweet. I think for a lot of older folks, they probably remember their grandparents smoking something like this. What can be said about The Sopranos that hasn't already been said? It's one of the greatest television series of all time. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Yeah, Sopranos is a really good series.
This show came out at a time when nobody was doing anything like this. Nobody made an R-rated show like that for that kind of an audience. You know, this was an important time, a touchstone in television history. Basically changing the entire game of what you could and could not do on television. The level of violence, the sexual content, of course, language that was used. But the thing about all that is that without The Sopranos, you wouldn't have shows like The Walking Dead. You wouldn't have shows like Breaking Bad. You wouldn't have a lot of these shows because they wouldn't be willing to push that kind of an envelope. You know, it took... The show started so simple, kind of just telling the life of a New Jersey crime boss and his daily life and his daily issues to something that defined a moment in time. You look at all the Sopranos related content, that came out around that time, you start to understand the cultural impact of it. Now, as for the show itself, I think it's a masterpiece. I watched the entire series when I was 16 years on a summer vacation when I was in Missouri. So I fell in love with the show. I watched it morning, noon, and night. To me, personally, it's one of the greatest shows of all time. You know, it really means a lot. You know, all that goofiness when we think about Italian mobsters, it took that, cranked it up to 11, but it also cranked up something we didn't understand about mobsters. The lonely life of it, the stress, the anger, the brooding of it. A lot of people think it's just flashy suits and wine parties and, you know, shaking hands with the governor. No, it's disgusting, brutal work that could just as easily get you killed as get someone you love killed as get your enemy killed. And that blood is thicker than water unless money gets in the way. You know, that's kind of one of the core themes of the show. Money corrupts. Not a bad lesson to learn. Money is not the root of everything. It's good to have money, but not the root of everything. You know, it gets down on the hardships of a changing world. You know, look at the show after the changes to the show after September 11th. You know, the plot's changed significantly. And that's something David Chase had talked about in some interviews before, is how much the show changed after September 11th. It changed so much. It went from a very happy-go-lucky, very lighthearted show to a very serious show. You know, it wasn't, you know, funny little plots about Tony's mother trying to have him whacked. It was, you know, what about a hypothetical attack at the Newark piers and stuff like that, you know. And I think, in a way, while there, of course, is tragedy in September 11th, that is the one good thing that came out of it, in a way, is the show was able to take on a more serious, dark tone that I think fit the show a little bit more well over the comedic stuff. And I know James Gandolfini's kind of talked to that in past interviews as well. The mood on the set was of course horrendously down after the attacks. But I think to take that pain and that anguish and that sorrow and try to turn it into something positive by making the show as best it could be, you know, trying to, you know, better explain things. There's something beautiful in that. You know, to me, I never was mad about the ending to the series, that whole thing that everyone talks about. I'm not going to specifically talk about it here because I think y'all need to watch the series, and I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But it was, to me, it made perfect sense, you know. That's all I'm going to say about that. It makes perfect sense when you look at it from a perspective of that's the future stopping. But to me, guys, the show's cast is just all-star. You know, James Gandolfini, Michael Imperioli, Steve Buscemi, again, doing another show involving Italian mobsters. Of course, this was like 10 years before his role on Boardwalk Empire, so I guess in a way, an early audition for that, huh? But I mean, an all-star cast. Edie Falco, Tony Sirico, Steven Van Zandt, all those guys. Just some of the best that could be in the business, and just perfect for their roles. To me, personally, one of the best ensemble casts I've ever seen in a long, long time. That's the best I can think of on hand. The audio design was always really good. The sound effects felt powerful, impactful. The music selection was very, very good. And of course, very Scorsese-esque takes to how shots roll with The Sopranos, which, of course, it's a gangster thing. It's always going to have some influence by Scorsese. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Sure.
I mean, do you have anything to say on it? I'm curious.
No? I like The Sopranos, but I don't follow it this deeply.
That's fair. But, yeah, guys, if you've never seen The Sopranos, I suggest you watch it in any way, shape, or form that you can. You can probably get it on HBO Now or HBO Go or whatever. HBO, whatever streaming service. You could probably get it. I own it on DVD, Blu-ray, and VHS. So I'm a huge fan, of course. For me, guys, it's a 10 out of 10 series. It's perfect. And it will always be so impactful and important to the last 20 years of culture in America. You know, it's influenced so much in the last 20 years. But hey, that's just my 2 cents, guys. You know, we'll see y'all in the very near future.